G7 leaders have called for a de-escalation in the Middle East, urging an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and resolution of the Iran crisis. The appeal comes amid an ongoing missile exchange between Israel and Iran, now in its fifth day, with civilians suffering heavy casualties on both sides. The call was issued in a joint statement by the G7, which includes Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the United States. It stressed Israel's right to self-defense but underscored the importance of protecting civilians. The leaders also reaffirmed their conviction that Iran must never possess a nuclear weapon. This follows Israel's expansion of its assault, launching wide-scale airstrikes on Iran's nuclear sites, military facilities, and residences, killing commanders, scientists, and civilians. The strikes, part of an operation codenamed Rising Lion, were aimed at deterring Iran's nuclear ambitions, which Tehran insists are for civilian use. Amid the escalating conflict, U.S. President Donald Trump abruptly exited the G7 summit. Though French President Emmanuel Macron said Trump left to work on a ceasefire proposal between Israel and Iran, Trump denied this. Posting on Truth Social, Trump said his departure had nothing to do with a ceasefire and called Macron wrong, insisting the reason was much bigger. Macron maintained that there was indeed a ceasefire offer and urged both sides to stop targeting civilians. He also warned against trying to overthrow Iran's clerical regime, calling it a strategic error. Since Friday, over 224 Iranians have been killed and more than 1,000 injured, mostly civilians. Israel has reported 24 deaths, also mostly civilians. This morning, 3 more people died in an Israeli strike on a checkpoint in Kashan City. Iran's air defenses were activated in Tehran and Natanz, the latter home to key nuclear facilities. Israeli missiles also hit targets in Tel Aviv and Herzliya, with the latter reportedly striking a sensitive site. The Israeli military claimed it had killed Ali Shadmani, Iran's wartime chief of staff, and targeted multiple missile and UAV sites in western Iran. Footage showed missile launchers being destroyed. President Trump stated that Israel was unlikely to slow down its attacks and warned that the U.S. would respond forcefully if Iran harmed American personnel. He also suggested he may send U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff or Vice President J.D. Vance for talks, depending on developments. Sources told Reuters that Iran, through Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, asked Trump to pressure Israel for a ceasefire, offering flexibility in nuclear negotiations in return. Despite the conflict, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth confirmed that Trump was still aiming for a nuclear deal with Iran. The White House maintained that U.S. forces remained in a defensive posture and were not involved in attacks. Meanwhile, foreign ministers of 20 Muslim-majority nations, including Pakistan, condemned Israel's military strikes on Iran. They urged Middle Eastern countries to join the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons and stressed the need to avoid targeting nuclear sites under IAEA safeguards. Amid rising tensions, several countries began evacuating nationals from the region. Trump also urged civilians to leave Tehran immediately, posting, "Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran." The conflict further escalated as Israel struck Iran's state broadcaster and uranium enrichment facilities, with IAEA's chief confirming significant damage at the Natanz site. Talks between Iran and the U.S., scheduled in Oman, have now been cancelled.